Do you ever feel like you're locked in a time capsule? Okay, when you're being held hostage by phone? Well, this video is for you. I'm going to give you a tip that will help you take control back of a call that feels like has thrown you into a galaxy far, far away. Let me share with you, this will happen to you when you sell by phone or face to face. And you must, and I mean must, know how to set yourself free when you feel like you're being held hostage on the phone call. So I'm going to dive into this content with you. And before I get going, I appreciate you watching. First off, but jasonfinalexpense.com. I do have free resources on my website for you if you'd like. A little pop-up will happen. And we do sell life, Medicare, and annuities. Face-to-face, yes, face-to-face. But more importantly, in the telespace. So if you need free resources, hop on there. I'd be more than privileged to give that to you. And thank you for joining me today. So one of the worst things on the planet is when you're on the phone and you're like, wowie, get me off this thing. Okay, I got to get free. You ever have one of those family members, okay, that just won't stop talking, and you're like, uh-huh, 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 and you feel like you're just gonna like lose your mind? You need like an excuse to get out of the room somehow. Anyone been there? I think every family member has one, right? Maybe you don't. Maybe it's just my family. Everybody's got one, it seems like. But sometimes prospects can do this to you, the agent, especially when you're new. All right, so you got to know how to get off, okay, that rabbit trail and get back to what you really are there in the home to talk about, or what you're really there to serve them with over the telephone. So if you're in a position where you've got a client that's running away with the conversation, you need to be grateful. Yeah, grateful. You're probably not feeling real grateful. Okay, sometimes you feel like, oh, wow, this has gone on for a half an hour and I'm just sitting here, okay? And you were raised to not be rude. And I'm not talking about being rude here. I'm talking about bringing real value and getting out of this hostage situation as a life insurance and Medicare insurance agent. When this happens, you've got to go, oh, thank you for sharing that with me, Mrs. Johnson. I really appreciate that. You've got to immediately interject right away. She knows that she's running on a rabbit trail. These sweet prospects do know this. You've got to immediately be grateful in the middle of her chatting, go, oh, thank you, Mrs. Johnson. I really appreciate you sharing that with me. And then ask any question that you want. And how's your health been? What's your health been looking like the last couple of years? So you've got to immediately be grateful when this takes place to get off that merry-go-round of a half an hour of them running that rabbit trail. Sweet people, you need to be listening to the prospects and really caring and be all about serving them. But you know what I'm saying here. Sometimes you can fall victim to being held hostage. When this happens, you need to immediately be grateful, jump into that conversation with class and dignity. But when this takes place, go, oh, thank you, Mr. Jason. I appreciate you sharing that with me. Now, what's your health been looking like the last couple of years? Immediately ask a question to get back to what you were there to do, and that's serve them. So understand, when you are being held hostage to a phone call, this is how you can remove yourself from it quickly and not rudely. Be grateful. Who's going to be mad at you for being grateful? Nobody. Tell them thank you for sharing that with me. I appreciate that. Now, what's your health been like the last couple of years? Ask these questions right away. If not, you're going to maybe questioning why you got into this industry in the first place, because you're like, ooh, there went a half an hour. That wasn't fun. So when you find yourself in this hostage type situation as a insurance agent, know that that's how you get out of it. Be grateful, thank them, and then ask a question. That'll get you right back on track. They know you're there for the purpose of insurance, especially if you sold yourself over the phone for that appointment. But even in the telespace, they know why you're there. They know that they're taking advantage of your most valuable resource, and that's time. So that's how we handle a client that has maybe held you hostage a little bit. This is how you're going to regain control of the call in a kind, loving, and compassionate way. It's all about serving the client, but you've got to get back on task here if you want to translate what you're going to do that's going to benefit the consumer. The next tip I'll share with you is that some agents get into a position where their fur goes up. You know what I'm talking about? You get a little irritated, okay, because maybe you're just new and it's selling, and you're kind of like dragging a fart into the room. Okay, where you had maybe a negative sales call or a call before you, and then you're kind of dragging it forward and you're bringing that horrible, okay, attitude with you sometimes that wasn't even the fault of the next prospect. but you've got to get into a place where you find ways of bringing value to the consumer. You've got to almost develop a dragon thick skin. The flames of the industry can hit you, but it won't hurt you. Understand that you're walking into the most negative space that you've ever been into. If you're an insurance agent selling Medicare insurance, life insurance, or annuities, face to face or in the telespace, you're going to get told no more than you're ever going to get told yes. So you've got to be in a place where you can handle the no's appropriately. You've got to know what to say. So never let your fur go up. Always find greater ways of bringing value to your consumer. It's all about them. It's not about you. Okay. So you've got to be positioning things in the best interest of your consumer. Serve them, serve them, serve them with your amazing products, because they do have problems that your products can resolve. But that's what it's about. It's not about selling and telling and selling and telling. Some agents feel that that's the way it is. And then guess what? You're holding the poor prospect hostage to you yakking. Okay. So you've got to be focusing on the client always. So when your fur gets up, well, maybe you feel like you lost control because you were being controlling and you were holding your sweet prospect hostage. Now you know what it feels like. So it does go both ways. Okay. You got to know how to handle this appropriately, but never let your fur go up. Always find greater ways to bring value to your prospects. The next tip that I'll share with you is when tension arises, okay, as a new insurance agent, sometimes it's because you went too fast. Sometimes tension arises because you're mirroring your client. That's not good. It's not great. Okay. It's not going to get you what you want. You don't take the bait here. Bring value. Always think, so what? So what? So what? So what? So what this does for you, Mrs. Johnson. So what this does for you. Focus on how you can bring and build value for her or him with what you possess. It's all about building the client's wishes into reality, building what they want to be built. You're no different than a construction worker building the beautiful home of their dreams, and you're an order taker. If you would just focus on bringing value to them, you're going to find rudeness. You've got to smile through it. You've got to understand that the no's of this industry are not personal and they won't hurt you. They just haven't found you as their agent to be in their corner yet. And sometimes the greatest barrier to you really making it in this industry is getting past the no bus, because the no's seem like, okay, it's an attack to your character, and it's not. You know what you're doing, hopefully, and you've been trained appropriately so you can accelerate past this. But sometimes on the phone, when you're told no, that's their only defense mechanism. They know they need you. They're testing your mettle. They're seeing if you're a professional or if you're not. And the professionals that I know you are, you're going to lean in and find greater ways to bring value. You're going to lean in and be grateful to them for, okay, allowing, okay, you into their homes, the precious privilege that it is to speak to them by phone. They're amazing folks. They really are. But you've got to have a heart to help, a heart to serve, and a heart to make their lives better. When you do, and they feel you and hear you and know that it's the truth, the tension will slowly evaporate. You're going to find you can settle down because now you're serving and focusing on them and focusing on their needs. And you never, okay, brought yourself into the picture. You always brought ways that you can serve them and their families, how you can guard their families, and the greatest generation on the planet will be better because of how you took care of them. So understand the no's happen when you're at that front door and they go, I don't want nothing. Okay, you've got to be grateful for them even being rude to you for 2 seconds. There's no sense in throwing gasoline on a fire. Be nice, be kind, be loving. It's the only way that you're going to be able to get past that. And you know what? If that person was really rude to you, just be nice to them and say, hey, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hope you have an amazing day. And then just head the other direction with your head held high. Okay. Don't get in the trough with the pigs. It's no place, okay, to put your emotions first off, but it's no place to even go. Keep leaning forward. The next prospect is now even closer to saying yes to you because you eliminated the no bus. The next no is probably not going to be that next call. Drag the best of you forward always, but always bring more value. And when that rude client, okay, or maybe that client starts talking and holding you hostage, just go, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing that with me. You know, now, okay, are you looking for term or whole life insurance? Ask a question. Ask a question. Ask a question. It'll get you, okay, back on track, back on target. And that's what you're there to do in the first place. I appreciate you watching. Hope this helps you today and gives you some form of value. And if you need anything at all, reach out, jasonfinalexpense.com. Have a great day and be more successful tomorrow than you even were today, because I know you will. Thanks so much.